Beijing warns Biden ahead of Asia trip. COVID testing can be profitable. Tencent profits plunge. Hong Kong considers banning Telegram. China Eastern airline flight may have been skyjacked. Hello and welcome to Sound of Hope News. I'm Liam O'Neill and here are your May 23rd China Briefs. Last Wednesday, Beijing warned the U.S. was on the wrong path regarding Taiwan and that President Biden's actions in Asia could put the situation in serious jeopardy. The phone call was made just days before Biden's first Asia trip. The president arrived in South Korea last Friday to meet newly elected President Yoon Suk-yeol. He traveled next to Japan and India and will end his tour in Australia to meet with a joint security partnership called the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. The visit was seen as crucial for efforts to bolster regional cooperation and counter the Chinese regime. On Wednesday, May 18th, Yang Jiechi, senior Chinese foreign policy advisor, made a phone call with White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. The United States was on the wrong path, he said, regarding Taiwan. Taiwan is a self-governing democratic island in the Indo-Pacific area. The CCP claims Taiwan is a breakaway province of China and should be under Beijing's control. But most of Taiwan's 23 million people want a separate nation. Foreign policy advisor Yang Jiechi made the threatening call about Taiwan to National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Yang said Beijing should react accordingly to any move that undermines the fundamental and long-term interests of countries in the region. And he added, China will take firm actions to safeguard its sovereignty and security interests. We live up to our words. In response, Sullivan stated that the U.S. was putting out an affirmative vision of what the world can look like if democracies and open societies of the world stand together. Taiwan has long been a sensitive issue for the Beijing and Washington relationship. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Beijing has been more aggressive, recently sailing unprecedented numbers of warships in the Taiwan Strait. Washington, for its part, has grown increasingly warmer to the island nation. On May 18th, the U.S. State Department advocated for the first time that the World Health Organization invite Taiwan as an observer at an upcoming assembly. And last year, the U.S. invited Taiwan to a democracy summit. According to Reuters, Washington sees the meeting in Asia as key to cementing pro-democratic values. Biden will highlight cooperation on COVID vaccines, humanitarian aid, infrastructure developments, as well as on climate, space, and cybersecurity. On May 16th, Shanghai announced the city would be opening from 2 months of lockdowns in 3 phases. CCP mouthpiece Xinhua published photos of normal activities and declared fun and games are coming back to Shanghai. Netizens are trying to post evidence that refutes the claim. This video shows security coming to erect a fence and residents entering into a prolonged shouting match. There are no positive cases in Building 16. Why are you sealing us in? They shout. Another said, it's been 65 days. Who can live like this? Get lost. Go on. Another one. The harsh lockdown measures have met with intense backlash and have had severe impacts on the economy. The WHO has criticized the lockdown as well, but it appears that Beijing is close to going into lockdown as well. Some suggested that profits being made from COVID testing may be motivating the measures. One gentleman complained about traveling 60 kilometers twice in 3 days for testing and said misdiagnoses are rampant, estimating that 13 million yuan was spent a day on misdiagnoses alone. A former professor from Capital Normal University, Li Yuanhua, he's now living in Australia, told Sound of Hope that the testing scheme was making huge profits. Tencent is a major Chinese technology company, and it said earlier this week that its early 2022 profits have now plummeted. The areas of technology, finance, and business services, including WeChat Pay, fell for the first time since the epidemic hit. Analysts believe this is due to the double hit of the CCP's lockdowns and regulation on technology companies. According to Tencent's financial results, shareholders' profits fell 23% year on year, while net profit fell 51%. Revenue from financial technology and business services fell 10.8%. Shares of other large firms, including Alibaba, have been slashed since the communist government issued regulatory crackdowns on technology companies last year. More recently, party officials have signaled that they are considering easing the regulations, leading some investors to believe China's technology sector may be turning around. However, analysts point out that shifts in the government oversight depend heavily on the outcomes of the upcoming 20th National Congress. That's the largest and most important gathering for the Communist Party, and it will take place later this year. Disputes over technology sector regulation from within the upper echelons of the party have already shown themselves. The Financial Times reported that high-ranking officials Liu He and Li Keqiang have both recently signaled for easing, but a CCP journal, Qiu Shi, contradicted the signals, emphasizing the need for capital regulation and curbing negative impacts. Plenum, that's a Beijing-based consulting firm, states that the industry is in desperate need of clarity from Xi Jinping himself to gauge the future of regulatory policy for technology companies. Several pro-CCP media in Hong Kong recently revealed that the office that oversees personal data is considering a complete ban on the instant messaging app Telegram. This would affect more than 100,000 Hong Kong users. Telegram spokesman Remy Vaughan told Radio Free Asia that he was shocked by the news. The Office of the Privacy Commissioner for Personal Data has alleged that doxing, that's the publicizing of sensitive personal information, is rampant on the platform, but Vaughan denied the claim. Doxing is prohibited and they regularly work to delete it, he said, but they will not consider requests to censor or restrict human rights, such as freedom of speech. Hong Kong media said the government has found thousands of doxing posts involving the police force, members of parliament, and other government officials, along with their family members. A China Eastern plane crash in southern China earlier this year may have been deliberate. This is according to the Wall Street Journal, citing sources close to a U.S. report issued after black box analysis. China Eastern Airlines remained evasive about the claim, stating that the U.S. side did not have all the information. China Eastern gave no further explanation for the crash, stating that there were no mechanical failures, the pilots were in good health, good family and financial condition, and that it was unlikely anyone had broken into the cockpit mid-flight. Epoch Times commentator Tang Jingyuan thinks that there's more to the story. He believes that the U.S. side must have solid evidence and that China Eastern Airlines' explanation does little to refute the claim. There is also speculation that one of the pilots may have left a suicide note. And that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Please click like and subscribe for daily China Briefs.